tariffs set to kick in on 3 major U.S. trading partners. The White House says President Trump will pass a new 25% tariff on goods from Mexico and Canada, along with a 10% tariff on products from China.
These are promises made and promises kept by the president.
Together, all 3 countries account for about $1.6 trillion worth of business.
So basically, President Trump wants to impose import tariffs on China, Canada, and Mexico. Mexico and Canada, it will be 25% for all imports. For Canada, it will be 10% for oil. And for China, it will be 10% as well. It's a lot of tariffs.
With the U.S. each year. Trump says the tariffs are punishment for the flow of drugs and migrants into the United States.
Donald Trump told everybody on the campaign trail he's going to use every tool available to secure this nation, and this is a part of it.
Trump says the U.S.'s existing trade agreements are lopsided in other countries' favor, even though he negotiated the current U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, which took the place of NAFTA in 2020. Canada is by far our biggest supplier of crude oil. Trump says he wants to produce more domestically.
You don't need the products that they have. We have all the oil you need.
It remains to be seen exactly how the strategy will play.
Now, this is an important point. I don't know if the US doesn't need Canada and Mexico's products. I think they do, but we will see.
Play out, particularly for consumers. Critics say the tariffs will drive up prices and could ignite a trade war, hinted at by Canada's Prime Minister on Friday.
If tariffs are implemented against Canada, we will respond. We won't relent until tariffs are removed, and of course, everything is on the table.
And Trump may not be finished. When asked if he plans to impose tariffs on the European Union, Trump replied, quote, absolutely. Traveling with the president in West Palm.
Yeah, that's important too. How will it be with the European Union? Because we have a problem with the European Union, and I think there's a trade deficit with the European Union, and I think Trump will impose, like his last term, he imposed a bit of tariffs here and there on steel, as I remember. But we'll see this term what will happen.
Beach, Florida, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
And our thanks to Lucas Tomlinson for that report. We also wanted to share a social media post that President Trump shared on Truth Social just this morning, talking about tariffs, saying, quote, the tariff lobby headed by the globalist and always wrong Wall Street Journal is working hard to justify countries like Canada, Mexico, China, and too many others to name continue the decades-long ripoff of America, both with regard to trade, crime, and poisonous drugs that are allowed to so freely flow into America. Those days are over. The USA has major deficits with Canada, Mexico, and China, and almost all countries.
That's right. That's right. Almost with all countries, the US has deficit in trade. So this is an important step, I think, for the US to start to tariff other countries instead of taking taxes or using taxes from their own citizens. But we'll see.
Owes $36 trillion, and we're not going to be this stupid country any longer. Make your product in the USA, and there are no tariffs. Why should the United States lose trillions of dollars in subsidizing other countries? And why should these other countries pay a small fraction of the cost of what USA citizens pay for drugs and pharmaceuticals, as an example? This will be the golden age of America. Will there be some pain? Yes, maybe, and maybe not. But we will make America great again, and it will all be worth the price that must be paid. We are a country that is now being run with common sense, and the results will be spectacular. And President Trump not limiting himself just to this one social media post. In fact, he continued earlier this morning sharing this as well. Quote, we pay hundreds of billions of dollars to subsidize Canada. Why? There is no reason. We don't need anything they have. We have unlimited energy, should make our own cars and have.
Yeah, I don't know about that because Canada actually exports a lot of oil to the US, and I think the US needs every bit of it because there's a power shortage in the US. So I'm not sure about that.
More lumber than we can ever use. Without this massive subsidy, Canada ceases to exist as a viable country. Harsh, but true. Therefore, Canada should become our cherished 51st state. Much lower taxes.
Yeah, that's just out of reach. I think most Canadians, I think they don't want to be a part of the US, even though it might come as an advantage for them, I think. But I think that will never happen.
And far better military protection for the people of Canada. And no tariffs. This is a major issue that we are going to continue to follow, as it is now a wait and see to see just what impact these tariffs against Mexico, Canada, and China will have. Now, there is concern that the tariffs, if sustained, could cause inflation to significantly worsen, threatening, the issue of lower.
Exactly. So tariffs mostly they make inflation go up because they make prices higher, because who basically pays all these tariffs are not the countries. Who pays these tariffs are actually the people, the citizens of the US. So unless you stop buying Canadian or Mexican products, you are gonna pay for these tariffs. So hopefully inflation will not go up, and it will come as something positive for the US.
Prices of groceries, gasoline, housing, and also potentially causing the global economy to change. President Trump, as he shared, saying that there might be an impact and there might not be, but saying this has to be done. President Trump declaring an economic emergency in order to place duties of 10% on all imports from China and 25% on imports from Mexico and Canada. Energy imported from Canada, including oil, natural gas, and electricity, would be taxed at a 10% rate. President Trump's order includes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was talking about. And the point that I didn't mention, that these tariffs will start to take place on the 4th of February. So this Tuesday. Hopefully everything will go smoothly and it will not affect the inflation, even though I think it will. We will see.
Mechanism to escalate the rates charged by the U.S. against retaliation by the other countries, raising concern by some about an even more economic disruption.
We'll see. We'll see about that. We will see.